So nandito tayo sa other important elements in the helping process. So mahalaga na isinasaalang-alang din natin yung workers' value system. So the conscious use of oneself, the course of helping requires judgment and maturity. Ayan. So as a worker, so sabi nga natin kanina ay nandyan yung ating tinatawag na self-awareness. So mahalaga nakilala natin yung ating sarili so para maiwasan natin yung pagkakaroon ng mga counter-transferences. So many of these values, particularly the workers' personal, religious, and cultural values have usually been so internalized that the worker is often not conscious that she is judging other people's behavior along these values. So minsan kasi may mga ilan tayong mga paniniwala, it could be personal, religious, or cultural, na kailangan natin i-set aside. Kasi pwede itong makaapekto on dealing with our client during the helping process. Okay? So sabi nga natin, self-awareness may be called for in this situation. Wherein workers' values clash with clients' values. Ayan. So kumbaga, nagbabangga yung mga values nyo sa isa't isa. Okay? And as a worker, so kailangan ma-learn natin paano ba natin maseset aside yung ganitong mga paniniwala natin, yung mga beliefs, ayan, mga values na maaari makaapekto in dealing with our client. Self-awareness is also called for when there is a difference between the problems and priorities as the worker system as her client system. Ayan. So, mahalaga na nagkakaroon tayo ng constant reflection sa ating sarili. Ayan. So, para at least, ay maiwasan natin yung pagkakaroon ng mga counter-transferences. Okay? So, another element, yung authority. So, there are two sources of workers' authority. So, the social worker position and corresponding functions in the agency. So, as a worker, so dapat napapanatili natin yung professional authority over the client. So this is more on possession of knowledge and experience, which is why she is presumed to be capable of helping others. So nandyan yung trust, yung tiwala ng client, knowing na meron kang tinatawag na professional authority. So you are capable na tumulong. You have the adequate knowledge, the skills, na pwedeng makatulong doon sa client. So the important thing about authority and power that goes with it is how it is used. Authority in itself is neither good nor bad. Ayan. So depende sa paggamit natin ng authority. So hindi naman authority na tayo yung masusunod doon sa helping process. So sabi nga natin, we have the principle of social work. Isa doon yung self-determination. So nandun pa rin yung kakayanan ni client na mag-decide sa kanyang sarili. Hindi naman pag sinabi nating authority ay magiging sunod-sunuran na si client sa kung anong gusto ni social worker. Okay? So gumagamit din tayo ng iba't ibang principle dito sa ating casework. So una yung strength-based practice principle. So pag sinabi natin strength-based, so nakapokus tayo dun sa strength ni client. So kumbaga yung atake natin, halimbawa sa paggawa ng case assessment or case study, palulutangin natin ano ba yung mga strength na meron si client na pwedeng makatulong dun sa kanyang problema kinakaharap. So strength, pagdating sa kanyang sarili. So ano ba yung mga capacity niya, mga capabilities na makakatulong doon sa pagresolba ng problema. So ba ay halimbawa nandun ba yung pagiging resilient ng tao? Nandun ba yung nandun ba yung pagiging matatag niya? Ayan, etc. So hindi lamang strength ng mismong individual, tinitingnan din natin yung strength ng mga nasa environment niya. Let's say for example, the support system. So pwede natin siyang ma-consider as strength. So, sino-sino ba yung mga support system niya na nasa paligid na pwedeng makatulong sa kanya to resolve the problem? So, pwede rin yung mga resources. Ano ba yung mga resources na pwedeng i-link si client para ma-resolbahan yung problema? So, the following practice principles may be helpful to keep in mind in helping people. So, we focus now on the client's strengths, resources, the coping abilities that make them capable of change and active participants in the change process. So, more on kalakasan yung ating titingnan. So, na pwedeng makakontribute doon sa pagresolba ng problema. So, put clients in charge of the helping process. So, kumbaga, nandyan yung big responsibility ni client, para tugunan yung mismong sarili niyang problema. Worker and client continually evaluate client's progress, whether the issues or concern for which help was sought have improved. Okay. So we also have the person in environment interaction or transaction. So underpinning the concept of helping process. So we have the ecological or life model practice. So dito sa PI or the person in environment interaction, so tinitingnan natin yung connection ng environment. Paano ba nakakaapekto, bakit ba nagkaroon ng problema ang taong ito? Ano ba yung kinalaman ng kanyang environment o nung kanyang paligid? So, with this, person in environment interaction or the ecological life model of practice. So, dito makikita natin, maaring ang environment ang sa makakapag-explain bakit nagkaroon siya ng ganitong problema. Okay? Okay, sige po. Na-accept ko na po si Jana. Sige, tuloy tayo. So, ecological or life model of practice espouses the view that transaction take place between the people and environment, meaning there is a consistent striving in people to achieve goodness or fit with their environment. Okay, so that's the PI or the person in environment interaction or the ecological or life model of practice. Okay. So ngayon, dito na tayo sa steps, yung ating appliance. So isa-isahin natin, ano ba ang mga nilalaman ng bawat steps na ito? Ano ba yung mga dapat na ginagawa? From assessment down to determination. Okay. So assessment, so according to Max Siporin, so this is a process and product of understanding in which action is based. So kung maayos ang assessment, magiging maayos din yung pagpaplano at yung pag-craft natin ng mga interventions o pag-craft natin ng mga programs and services. So nakasalalay ang magandang plano at magandang intervention doon sa naging nating assessment. Okay? Kaya very crucial yung assessment. Kaya una pa lang dapat tama na yung mga na-gather natin mga datos, mga information patungkol dun sa client. Okay? So ano ba yung purpose? To provide understanding necessary for appropriate planning. So this involves collection of necessary information and its analysis and interpretation in order to reach an understanding of the client, the problem, the social context in which it exists. So assessment, more on data collection tayo. At masasabi natin na ang isang kliyente ay nandun na sa status ng pagiging isang potential client kapag nagsimula na tayong mag-intake. Okay. So during intake, so ano ba yung ginagawa natin? Kinukuha natin yung ilan sa mga, halimbawa, identifying information of the client. Okay? So that's during the intake. So pag sinabi natin nasa intake process ka na, ibig sabihin, na-achieve na ni client yung pagiging niyang potential client. Okay? So the social workers make a professional judgment of the latter's functioning, guided by theoretical knowledge, observation, and analytical skills. Ayan. So during the assessment, so sinusunod natin yung psychosocial assessment. So minsan pa nga, biopsychosocial nga yan. So by the biological, the psychological, and the social assessment. So this is used to denote a more holistic, inclusive, and comprehensive view of the interrelationship of the multiple facets of the client's life and understanding of person in context. Ayan. So, the biopsychosocial assessment, una, yung biological. So, pwedeng pumasok dito yung the current and past physical conditions. So, ano ba yung, halimbawa, yung ba ay PWD, so may kapansanan ba yan, etc. Genetic factors and health. So, pwedeng pumasok dito, meron ba siyang mga health conditions, the physical functioning, the state of health, meron bang sakit, injuries, disabilities, genetic abnormalities that produces stress on the body. Sa social naman, ang tinitingnan natin is more on interpersonal relationship. Yan. So yung relationship niya with the family, other significant others, and the culture permeating client's life. Sa psychological naman, better grasp through the use of psychological theories as well as the dexterity in their application to specific client problem situation. Okay? Psychological dimension, papasok dyan yung mga usapin ng coping skills, ayan, yung kanyang personality, behavior, the attitudes or beliefs. Then, letter D, other social support, other additional interpersonal relationships that provide us with support. So, papasok dito yung mga support system ng kliyente. Social environment, resources, or stressors. So, environmental context that may either present opportunities or limitations. So, papasok dito yung person in environment. So, tinitingnan natin paano ba nakaka-apekto o pwedeng itong mismong environment yung mag-explain bakit meron ganito sang uri ng problema. And then we have culture. Client may belong to ethnic communities that has direct influence on his identity. Yan. So during the assessment, so dapat holistic tayo and we use this biopsychosocial assessment. Ayan. So ano ba yung major task natin? So in this stage, so more on information tayo or data gathering. Ayan. So more on, ginagawa natin yan through interview with the client. And then, right after we have the problem definition or simply the problem forward. So i-define na natin, ilalatag na natin, ano-ano ba yung mga problema. So later on, makikita natin paano ba yung tamang paglalatag. Ano ba yung dapat nating uunahin. So dami ng sinabing problema ni client. Usually nakaka-encounter tayo niyan. Sanga-sanga yung mga problema. So this task culminates in the worker's writing of assessment statement or a problem definition. So from your assessment interview, magka-come up tayo doon sa tinatawag na assessment statement. So usually ito yung tinatawag ding diagnosis or social diagnosis. So assessment statement appears in most social work literature and seems to also be the preferred term in the field practice today. So mas ginagamit natin yung term na assessment statement kaysa dito sa diagnosis or social diagnosis. Ayan. So, sino-sino ba yung pwede natin pagkunan ng information? So, we have the primary source. So, sino ba ang primary source natin? So, walang iba kundi yung ating client. Okay? The condition and behavior is the main concern. Secondary sources, yung ating mga significant others, it could be the parents, the sibling, the family, friends, relative, teachers, katrabaho, and etc. Okay? Existing data. So ito yung mga previously collected data by others. Pwede din pumasok dito yung mga medical records, halimbawa, yung mga previous case studies, case evaluations. Ayan. So more on tinitingnan din natin dito yung mga records and reports from other professionals. And lastly, workers' own observation. So ito yung direct observation natin habang halimbawa kasalumuhan natin si client, So this is direct observation of the client or his or her interaction with others. So in community, this refers to the physical condition, the presence or absence of basic amenities, facilities, and resources, the person-to-person and group-to-group interaction. So ito po, yung ating different sources of info. We have the primary, secondary, existing, and the worker's own observation. Ayan. So mahalaga din na sa pagkuha natin ng mga data and information, so dapat daw susundin natin itong mga criteria ito. Okay, so number 1, reliability. So dapat consistent yung data. So gaano ba ka-reliable yung mga nakuha nating information or data about the client. So nagtutugma-tugma ba yung mga halimbawa nag-interview ka kay client, nagkaroon ka ng collateral interview with other people. So tugma ba yung mga information na iyon? Number 2, validity. Concerns the effectiveness of measures used in getting the data. So gaano ka valid yung kinuha mong information or data. Number 3, sensitivity. Answer the question, will a measure reflect changes that occur? Okay. Number 4, utility. So paano ba natin mayu-utilize itong mga nakuha nating information? So meron ba siyang paggagamitan? Baka naman wala. So baka walang saysay naman itong mga datos na kinuha natin. So i-consider natin how it will be utilized. Concerns on the usefulness of the data for meeting the goals and objectives. Feasibility. So factors in cost, time, effort, expense, balance against information provided. So gaano ba ka-feasible? So pag sinabi natin feasible, may usapan ng time and cost. So paano ba nakuha yung information? Is it costly ba? Is it kailangan ba ng maraming time para makuha natin yung data or information na ito? Okay? And then number 6, relevance. Answer is the information relevant to the outcomes. To the clients and significant other considered the data relevant. So gaano ba ka-relevant yung mga kinuha nating information? Baka naman ang ilalagay natin doon sa case study natin, wala nang kinalaman doon sa problema ni client. So baka mag-discuss ka pa dyan, halimbawa, kung paano sila nagdigawan, paano sila nagkakilala, which is not relevant naman doon sa problema ni client. So, ang i-collect lang nating data ay all data that are relevant doon sa problema ng kliyente. Okay? So number 7, norms. Information about the typical or average performance of group of individuals. Okay. So that's the criteria on deciding what data or information to record. Ayan, so ito na. Yung isa sa mga pinakang mahalagang principle in data gathering. So what we call the principle of parsimony. So pag sinabi natin parsimony, those only relevant or important information na makakatulong doon sa case ni client, ang kukunin lang natin. Baka naman may mga information na hindi na related doon sa kaso o doon sa problema ni client. So the social worker collects only those data, information that has relevance to the situation at hand and essential to the formulation of valid working judgments. Ayan. So baka naman ang kinukuha mong information ay para lang makapag-marites ka. So alamin yung mga hindi naman related with the problem. So pag sinabi natin parsimony, kung ano lang yung kailangan ng information na makakatulong dun sa problema, yun lang yung ating i-collect. Yun lang yung ating kukunin. Okay? So that's the principle of parsimony. So we have also principles in data gathering. Ano po? So una, the client should be the main source of information. Although when appropriate and available, other sources should be used. So, walang ibang magiging main source of information kundi ang kliyente natin. No? So, if in the situation na kung ang kliyente halimbawa is a PWD, so may mental problems, so hindi makakapag-provide ng appropriate data or information, so pwede tayong pumunta with their significant others in their behalf. So number 2, data to be gathered should directly relate to the identified problem. So papasok na dito yung tinatawag nating parsimony. So kung ano lang yung directly related dun sa problema, yun lang yung kukunin nating information. Number 3, the client should be informed about the source being used for data collection. In certain cases, his permission should be sought before certain kinds of information are obtained. So, ipapaalam din natin, so may kukunin po kami ganitong datos, so sa inyong nakaraang mga case studies, case reports, case evaluations, etc. Kami po ay mag-i-interview doon sa inyong mga significant others and etc. So, merong permission doon sa pagkalap natin ng information. So number 4, data collection is a continuous process. But it is the collection, organization, and synthesis of such data that is especially critical to the definition of the problem and setting of goals. So sabi nga natin, ang assessment all throughout the helping process, ay ginagawa natin ng assessment. So tulad lang din sa ng data collection. So halimbawa, planning. So di ba ina-assess natin, tama ba itong naging plano natin? So nagkakaroon pa rin tayo ng assessment. So kapag nakita hindi tama, so magkakaroon ng revision sa mga pagpaplano. Sa interventions din, so nag-a-assess din tayo. Okay, kaya itong interventions na binigay natin, nag-ibang effective or what? So evaluation, nagkakaroon din tayo ng assessment. So pag sinabi kasi natin evaluation, ina-assess natin kung naging effective ba yung mga programs and services na binigay natin. And then termination, ina-assess din natin kung capable na ba na i-terminate yung helping relationship, ayos na ba, and etc. Okay? Number 5, the type of client and the general nature of the problem can guide the worker on the type of data should be collected and how much. So lagi tayo nakadepende on the nature of the problem. Kung ano ba yung kukunin natin mga datos doon sa kliyente. Okay? So during assessment, so syempre nagkakaroon tayo ng initial contact with the client. So meron kasing iba't ibang klase ng kliyente. Merong voluntary na humihingi ng tulong. Yung iba naman involuntary na client na kailangan pang samahan ng ibang tao para sila yung mag-speak on behalf of the client. Okay? Or mismong si agency na o si worker yung naglapit kay client para matulungan. So una, the client initiates the contact. So ito yung mga voluntary. Yung nagkusang loob na lumapit, hingi ng tulong. So example, a client seeks burial assistance from their CSWDO. So voluntary pa kasi mismong siya ang humingi o humiling ng tulong. So number 2, the client is referred to the worker or agency by some interested or concerned party. So parang meron siyang spokesperson uh, naglapit sa kanya para matulungan siya. Okay, so it could be a relative, a neighbor, teacher, and sometimes person referred by others are merely forced to secure help. So ito yung tinatawag nating mga involuntary clients. So such as the drug dependent, children in conflict with the law. And then number 3, the agency through the social worker reaches out to the potential client and offers help. So ito yung mga example ito, yung mga na-rescue from the victims of human trafficking. Okay? Ayan. So, on assessment, gumagamit tayo ng mga tools. Ayan. So, we have the ecological map or eco map or ecogram. So, this was developed in 1975 by Dr. Anne Hartman, who is also credited with creating the xenogram. So, later on, alamin natin ano bang pagkakaiba ng eco map and the xenogram. So sabi dito, ang EcoMap is a simple paper and pencil simulation that presents the individual or family, the major systems in the life space, and as well as the nature of individuals or families' relationship with this various system. So compared to Genogram, mas malawak ang EcoMap. So since tinitingnan natin yung relationship ni client on the different various systems na meron sa community. So ano-ano ba yung mga various systems na ito? Papasok dyan yung mga social institutions. Halimbawa, kumusta ba yung connection ni individual with the social institutions like the churches, the school, the hospital, etc. Okay? Papasok dito yung mga connection din ni individual on the support system. Halimbawa, the groups, organizations, and etc. Okay? So it is a diagram that shows the social and personal relationship of an individual with his or her environment. So pasok din dito sa ecological map yung relationship niya with his or her family. Ang focus kasi ni Genogram more on para lang sang family tree pag sinabi natin Genogram. At dinedescribe niya kumusta ba yung relationship ng individual na ito doon sa member of the family, sa kanyang nanay, tatay, and etc. In compared to ecological map, hindi lang siya nakapokus on the family relationships. Nakapokus din sa, kung titignan natin, mas malawak, so nakapokus siya on the various system na meron ng environment. The social institution, the groups, organization, and etc. Okay? So ganyan po yung itsura ng ating ecological map. So madalas ito natatanong sa board exam itong eco map. So the last time may tanong po na ano daw yung ginagamit ng ecological map and genogram para ma-describe yung relationship. So ang sagot po doon ay lines and symbols. So through lines and symbols, mapapakita natin kumusta ba yung relationship itong individual na ito sa iba't ibang systems in the community. So kung titingnan natin so nakita natin si John, age 13. So kumusta ba yung relationship niya dun sa mga taong nasa paligid niya? So siguro itong si Henry Jr., Henry, Sally, at Mary. Ito yung mga pamilya niya. And pag sinabi natin eco map, so mas malawak, tinitingnan din natin yung relationship niya with the friends, with the school. So different or the various system in the community. Meron pa siyang hardware store, the scouts, community organizations, neighbors, and etc. So mas malawak ang ecological map. So pag ganito daw ang itsura, yung dalawang arrow, positive relationship. Pag medyo naman yung pagkakaaro, so very strong relationship. Kapag naman medyo kulot-kulot, ibig sabihin daw ay there is a strained relationship. At kapag naman yung araw ay may laktaw-laktaw, there is a negative relationship. Okay, so that's the sample of EcoMap. Ayan, so genogram. So it's like a family tree. So para lang sa magde-describe ano ba yung relationship noong individual na ito dun sa taong ito. Ano, and then through lines and symbols din pinapakita kung paano ba yung relationship niya dun sa kanyang family. So this is a graphical representation of a person's family relationship and history. This is a unique type of family research diagram. It records family members and their relationship to each other. It also shows many of their physical and physiological attributes through an elaborate system of symbols. So during our time, lumabas itong sa Genogram at EcoMap sa HBSE, lumabas din sa casework. Ayan. Ayan. So ganito lang po yung Genogram para lang sa family tree. Ano? So si Steve, kumusta ba yung relationship niya sa kanyang halimbawa kapatid, sa kanyang nanay, lolo, lola, etc. And then through lines and symbols din po, papapakita natin kung paano ba yung relationship niya dun sa member of the family. So meron din sa mga lines and symbols. Ano? Ayan. So makikita natin dito sa baba. Okay? Ayan. So dito na tayo sa intake process. Ano? So this is the process by which a potential client achieves the status of a client. So ito na yung binabanggit natin kanina. Once na nag-proceed ka na dun sa intake process, ibig sabihin, na-achieve na ni client yung pagiging niyang client o yung kanyang officially siya ay isa ng client or kliyente. So it marks the official start of the helping relationship and may be accomplished in one or more sessions with the client. So the intake process undertaken through intake interview may end either with the worker or the client deciding not to proceed or the client committing to have a client status. So however, reluctantly, and the worker committing the agency to provide services. When the latter occurs, an initial engagement may be said to have taken place. Okay, so intake process. Ano? So ito na yung na-achieve na ni client yung pagiging niyang client. Okay? So we have the presenting problem. So during after the intake, sana mag-uusbong yung pagpresenta ng problema ng isang kliyente. So when we say presenting, so ito yung nagmula doon sa client. Maaring ito ay nagmula din sa kung ano yung sinabi ng kliyente na pine-perceive niya as problema. It is a problem that is threat to the client's or others' welfare and usually stated or presented as it being perceived or experienced by the client. So, pwede daw itong symptoms, so pwede maobserbahan na agad natin yan. So, pwede makita natin na ay nasa anxiety or lack of motivation. So, more on naobserbahan, so based on our observation, so pwede nang makita natin ano ba yung pine-presentang problema nitong kliyente ito. So behavioral configuration. So it could be marital discord, poor school performance, or unemployment. And letter C, it could be needs, pangangailangan, halimbawa on housing, money, and etc. The client's problem may be such that it requires immediate action. So dito na papasok na minsan daw nga yung immediate action, immediate problem ay sa ding pwedeng maging presenting problem ni client. The client's presenting problem, if it is the problem or part of the problem that the client system feel is most important, may serve as the problem for work. So problem for work in specific terms means any or all of the following. So letter A, the problem or part of the problem that the client system feel is most important or a good beginning phase. So talagang manggagaling pa rin doon sa kliyente. Ano ba yung sa tingin niya na agad-agad ay dapat matugunan? Ano ba yung sa tingin niya na importante ay masolusyunan agad? Letter B, the problem or part of the problem that in the worker's judgment is most critical. So pwede rin namang manggaling din sa atin, ano ba sa tingin natin yung problem for work? So later, so makikita natin paano ba ano natin malalaman. So meron kasi tayong tinatawag na partialization and prioritization. So para ma-partialize natin from the different or many problems